Run.
It's choking her. Stop! You gotta stop!
The movie begins in the futuristic world of the year 2142, when a human spaceship, while exploring space, arrives at a place showing signs of an incident, with debris from a former spaceship. There, the humans recover a mysterious artifact, which a group of scientists opens using a laser. It is revealed that the artifact is actually the preserved body of an alien, and the scientists want to research it. Meanwhile, a girl named Rain, along with her robot assistant, Andy, works in a star mining colony on a planet called Jackson. The colony is run by a company named Wan Yutani, and everyone works for them in exchange for food and shelter, but in limited supply. So, she plans to leave the planet soon and move to another one called Iaga, where she can live with a bit more freedom. With this intention, Rain, along with Andy, goes to the company's office to get her travel papers made. She tells the clerk there that she works in farming and has completed the agreed work hours according to her contract. She further reveals that her parents died from a disease caused by their work in mining.
Due to a shortage of workers, you're being transferred to the mines. Unfortunately, quotas have been raised to 24,000 hours.
I got you. I'm resetting you. I got you. I shouldn't have left you alone.
Just then, her friend Tyler calls her, saying he needs to discuss something important and asks her to bring Andy along. Moments later, she meets Tyler on his spaceship. Tyler works in transporting materials, and his spaceship crew includes his sister Kay and his cousin Bjorn. A girl named Navarro is the ship's main pilot. Rain offers her condolences to Tyler on the recent death of his parents. Tyler then explains why he called her.
Some old relic is probably damaged or obsolete.
Like that guy over there.
Beyond.
You want to break into a Wayland Yutani ship and steal highly regulated equipment.
Decommissioned ships still carry tons of functional equipment.
And the hyperlink shows that ship still has a few parts left.
You guys are insane.
Of course we
We're
are.
not. This is.
Yeah, but what if we get caught and it'll ruin our chances of ever getting a travel permit?
Are you gonna help us?
Sorry, what do you need me for?
Let's use Andy.
You can access a terminal on the ship to get us in and out without a fuss.
I'm not sending my brother up there alone.
It's not your brother, it's just where you damaged goods that your dad found in the trash.
You need to wake up, because this company are not going to give us anything. You know that as well as I do. We have to take it. You won't even have to get out the Corbelin. That much I can promise you, okay?
The entire crew boards Tyler's spaceship, Coralon, which soon launches into Jackson's orbit. Since Rain has never been to space before, and there's no sunlight on her planet, she gets to see the sun for the first time. She mentions that she's always dreamed of sitting in Iaga's sunshine.
They say Ivaga has the most incredible sunsets.
I can't wait to see them with you.
You know, I heard that cryo sleep just makes your ears feel like one night of heavy drinking, apparently.
There she is.
That's not a ship.
It's 36 hours, give or take.
Till what?
That don't sound very good.
36 hours. Should be in and out in 30 minutes.
They discover that the space station is on a collision course with the planet's asteroid belt and will crash within 36 hours. But Tyler assures them that their job will be done in just 30 minutes. Soon, Coralon docks at the space station, and Tyler and Bjorn prepare to go inside with Andy. After this, Andy uses his finger to open the space station's entrance and enters with Tyler and Bjorn. As they pass through a narrow hatch, they spot a dead rat floating in the air. Suddenly, the rat drops to the ground, leaving them confused. Navarro explains that the space station's gravity generators caused this to happen, as they periodically purge, despite being offline, to prevent the space station from exploding. Later, they manage to locate the cryopods using a temperature canner.
Okay, watch out, gravity's coming back.
Pods don't have enough fuel.
What do you mean?
They're loaded up for 3 years in stasis.
Yvaga's in the system, so what are we supposed to do now? Huh?
Must be a cryo depot nearby. Should find more fuel there.
Before leaving, Tyler ejects the cryopods into space so Navarro can retrieve them. In the next scene, as they explore the space station, an automatic computer informs them that the place is a Wayland Yutani research and development station dedicated to advancing humanity's role in outer space. The station is divided into two parts, called Romulus and Remus. Hearing this, Bjorn becomes nervous, so Andy tries to lighten the mood with a joke. However, Bjorn rudely replies that he can't wait to go to Iaga, as Andy won't be allowed on the planet because it is an independent system that doesn't permit the entry of synthetics. Andy is shocked to hear this, as Rain hadn't had the courage to tell him that earlier. Watching this unfold, Rain wonders why Bjorn is behaving so rudely towards Andy. Navarro explains that some years ago, a gas leak in the mines forced a synthetic to lock some miners out to save others. Bjorn's parents were among those who died, which is why he holds a grudge against the synthetics. Soon, Tyler and the others reach a control room.
Thought you said this place was decommissioned.
Watch out.
It's only a synthetic. I thought it was a real person then for a second.
Meanwhile, Navarro retrieves the cryopods and goes to check them, but Kay suddenly starts vomiting. Rain initially thinks that she's sick, but Kay reveals she's pregnant and asks Rain not to tell Tyler about it. On the other hand, Tyler makes it to a partially flooded cryo room, where he discovers enough cryo fuel to get them to Iaga. Just as Tyler and Bjorn start ejecting the cryo fuel tanks, an emergency lockdown triggers, sealing the room. Andy is unable to open it, as he lacks the authorization to unlock it. Seeing this, Navarro and Rain board the station to help. Upon reaching the control room, Rain tries to remove the module from the destroyed synthetic, hoping if they put it in Andy, it might enable him with the clearance to unlock the door.
Yeah, maybe try not to touch anything in here.
Yeah, okay, Mom.
This is from that synthetic. Try putting out Andy's module.
Fuck! Rain, did I do something wrong? He's just frozen up.
He's just rebooting.
In the meantime, the frozen creatures fully awaken, and one of them falls into the water. After a few moments, it tries to drag Bjorn down.
It's choking her. Stop! You gotta stop!
I do not believe that's what the creature is doing. I surmise it's feeding her oxygen to keep her alive. For what purpose, I do not know. You guys call me Andy.
It's that module.
Andy then suggests they could ask the damaged synthetic about those creatures to find a way to safely remove the alien. When they turn on the synthetic named Rook, he tells them that the alien is a parasitoid, combining its DNA with Navarro's. This would create a creature called a xenomorph inside her body. He adds that the first encounter with the xenomorph happened years ago when a ship's entire crew died. Except for one survivor who managed to eject the xenomorph into space.
170 days ago, our search came to an end, and the body of the xenomorph was brought on board.
Yet nothing is truly immortal.
It wreaked havoc over this station.
What if we use the cryo fuel to freeze the root of the tail?
That could work.
So, they freeze its tail using a makeshift cryofuel gun and successfully remove the parasitoid, driving it away. Afterward, Navarro regains consciousness. However, Rook warns them there's still a 60% chance the parasitoid has already completed its work inside Navarro. He advises Andy to stop Navarro from going back with them because humans tend to get emotional and delay accepting reality until it's too late. So, Andy tries to prevent Navarro from leaving, but Bjorn disables him with a taser and escapes with Navarro towards the Corbelan. Meanwhile, Rain fixes Andy, who then chases after Bjorn and tries to enter the Corelon. However, Bjorn locks him out, and Navarro undocks the ship. Kay, who had been resting on the Corbelan all this while, tries to ask Navarro what's going on when Navarro's condition worsens.
Navarro, are you alright? Navarro!
Okay. Please don't let me die.
On the other side, Tyler and Rain discover that the space station will collide with the asteroid belt in 47 minutes now, as the Corbelan's crashing has sped up the space station's movement toward the asteroid belt. After this, they decide to head towards the Corellon, but it's on the other side of the space station in the Romulus section. To reach it, they'll have to cross a room full of parasitoids. However, they notice that Andy is missing, as Andy has gone to meet Rook, hearing his voice in his head calling him. Rook tells Andy that he is a science officer and needs Andy's help for a mission, but Andy insists that his directive is different. Rook explains that after Andy's upgrade, his previous directives have been overridden, and he now has a new mission. A few moments later, Andy returns and tells his partners that the parasitoids are blind but can detect sound and primarily heat to track them. Then, they plan to increase the room's temperature to match their body heat and quietly try to cross the room. As soon as the temperature equalizes, they enter the room and begin crossing it. Meanwhile, on the Corellon, Kay regains consciousness and gets down from the cockpit looking for Bjorn. She discovers the xenomorph, which has shed its old exoskeleton and created a cocoon. Just then, Bjorn comes from behind and tries to electrocute the xenomorph by connecting his taser to the Corbelan's power supply and shoving it into the cocoon. The xenomorph begins to emerge from its cocoon, and Kay attempts to escape the ship, but she cannot open the exit door. Using the comms, she contacts Tyler and asks for his help to open the door. Tyler, who is in the room full of parasitoids, whispers instructions to her to find the door keys. Finally, Kay finds the keys and unlocks the exit door, but by then, the xenomorph has fully recovered and emerged. She fails to look behind her and falls from the ship, knocking herself out. On the other hand, Tyler's talking has alerted the parasitoids, so they decide to make a run for it.
Run.
You almost closed the door on it.
I calculated the timing perfectly with more success than last time.
Moments later, Kay regains consciousness and sees the xenomorph looking for her, but she successfully evades it. She notices the xenomorph taking the bodies of her friends somewhere, after which she attempts to exit the hangar. However, the door won't open, and a siren gets triggered. Soon, Tyler and his friends also arrive there. But Andy spots the xenomorph behind Kay and refuses to open the door, knowing that the smart creature is waiting for the chance to attack them. Despite Tyler and Rain begging him, Andy doesn't open the door, and the xenomorph stabs Kay and takes her away too. Overcome with grief, Rain asks Andy what his prime directive is. Andy explains that his directive has changed to do what's best for the company, and the docking bay doors will only open once he completes the mission that Rook has assigned to him. After that, Andy leads them to a lab where Rook explains that humans are very vulnerable creatures and are dying rapidly in colonies. To solve this problem, he was working on a project where he modified the xenomorph's DNA and created a fluid through which humans could acquire its survival abilities. The initial tests were successful on rats, which is why he wants to deliver this compound, Z01, to the company The
perfect organism. That's how we should refer to human beings. The parasitoids I bioengineered from the xenomorph's DNA, I discovered a unique non-Newtonian fluid. I've turned it into the miracle Mr. Wayland died searching for. Symbiotic capableness easily rewrites the host's DNA through its blood.
My mission is to take this back to the colony for further development.
Do you see it? There.
Right, this is an F-44A pulse rifle. Aim it towards Andy. Pull the trigger halfway. Don't worry, the safety's on. See? You've just got one mag. That's it. 450 rounds.
Below our features a vacuum of space. You shoot that creature, and it's a guaranteed instant decompression. Find us a way through the conveyor belt. This way.
Meanwhile, on the lab's computer, it is shown that Rook's experimented rats also later transformed into xenomorphs. Without noticing this, the group decides to take a different route towards the Corellon, but along the way, they stumble upon the xenomorph's massive nesting area. To avoid it, they decide to go through another path. However, Tyler suddenly hears Kay's voice coming from the nest and rushes to save her. Upon reaching Kay, Tyler pulls her out of the xenomorph's nest and notices that she is bleeding heavily. He asks Andy for help, so Andy gives him a vial of Z01 to inject into Kay. However, Rain doesn't trust the compound and advises Tyler that they could save Kay by taking her to Corellon and placing her in a cryopod instead.
I got her now.
Watch out!
Tyler!
Rain stops the elevator on the way and instructs Kay to take the Z-01 along with her and head towards the Corellon on her own while she goes back to save Andy. But as Rain leaves, Kay injects herself with the Z-01 to save her own life. On the other side, Rain goes back and pulls out the new module to reset Andy. During this time, a group of xenomorphs also follows her, blocking her path back to the elevator. At the same time, the ship's computer announces that there are only 10 minutes left before the space station collides with the asteroid belt. Rain then tries to find an alternate escape route, but Rook locks all the doors, as he doesn't want to take any more risks. With no other options left, Rain decides to listen to Andy's jokes in her final moments. As Andy cracks a zero-gravity joke, it gives Rain an idea. She disables the gravity, realizing that the xenomorph's acidic blood won't fall to the floor without gravity. She then begins shooting the xenomorphs, killing them one by one.
Turning off the gravity generator.
She crosses the floating acid along with Andy. When they reach the elevator, Andy tries to call it, but without gravity, the elevator doesn't function. Instead, the cables of the elevator above start uncoiling. They decide to float upward, and as Rain jumps up, a xenomorph grabs her, but she manages to shoot it and escape. However, she loses control and begins floating upwards uncontrollably. Her gun slips from her hand, and just as the gravity generators are about to purge, she almost reaches Andy, but gravity suddenly returns, and she starts falling downwards. Before she hits the floor, a xenomorph grabs Rain, preventing her from falling, but it calls for a parasitoid to infest her. Andy and Rain board the Corellon, where Rain hands over controls to Rook, who steers the ship away from danger. Rain then places Kay into a cryopod and shifts the ship's controls back to automatic, informing Rook that she has decided not to follow his plans, which makes him frustrated in his last moments. As Rain prepares to enter a cryopod herself, Kay's pod suddenly gets deactivated because her condition worsens. Rain then notices that Kay's belly has grown to that of a full-term pregnant woman and her wound has fully healed. She realizes what is happening to Kay. Suddenly, Kay violently delivers an encapsulated creature. Rain then attempts to take the creature outside to throw it away, but it slips from her hands due to the acid and falls, revealing a humanoid xenomorph emerging from it. Rain descends into the cargo bed and starts to track its footsteps. Meanwhile, Andy wakes up due to the chaos and reaches Kay, where he encounters the xenomorph as well. The xenomorph, which has grown very large in size, attacks and injures Andy. Rain quickly puts on an astronaut suit to protect herself and heads to the cargo bed with a plan. There, she anchors herself to the ship and pulls the levers to manually eject the cargo bed. Just before she pulls the last lever, the xenomorph attacks her, knocking her down. As it is about to launch another attack, Rain spills the acid from its birth capsule, creating a hole in the cargo bed's floor, and both she and the xenomorph fall into space. Rain believes that the xenomorph has fallen into space, but it is actually hanging on the underside of the ship. At the same moment, she realizes that her anchor cable is stuck in the last lever. So she yanks on the cable, causing the cargo bed to detach and sending the xenomorph crashing into the asteroid belt. Finally, Rain makes it back inside her spaceship. In the end, she places Andy in a cryopod, promising to fix him, and sets the ship to autopilot toward Iaga. Eventually, she records her final message and then enters her own cryopod, hoping to wake up an Iaga. Thus, we reach the end of this film. Thanks for watching. You can like this video to support us. Don't forget to subscribe for more content. See you in the next video. Goodbye.